Hey everyone, it's moetechreviews, and today we have an awesome product to look at. This is the G303 Shroud Edition, and this mouse has a bit of an interesting backstory. So when they first released the G303, it got discontinued pretty quickly, but Shroud loved this mouse and kept using it on his streams, and soon you saw them pop up on eBay for ridiculous prices. But Logitech has come back and collaborated with Shroud to design this mouse specifically for him and bring this in this really nice wireless package with a lot of features. So this comes in at $130 at the moment. So I'm going to be taking you through everything you need to know about it so you can know if this mouse is the one for you. So let's get right into it.
The G303 Shroud Edition comes in a special box with the Shroud logo printed right on top. And inside, you're going to find the mouse itself presented to you right away. And beneath that, you're going to find a USB-C cable for charging, which is not braided, but it does feel nice and well built. And yes, this is the very first Logitech G gaming mouse to charge through USB-C, so kudos to Shroud for making that happen. And finally, you're going to find the 2.4 GHz USB dongle alongside a nicely textured USB adapter for the dongle. Now, I currently use the Logitech G Superlight as my main mouse, and I have been doing that for the past 7 months now. And since this uses a lot of pieces from the Superlight, I'm going to be making a lot of direct comparisons with it here. Unlike the safe and uneventful design of the Logitech Superlight, the design of the G303 Shroud Edition is really striking. It has these unique sharp angles and a pointed front end to make this diamond shape, and it looks really futuristic in my opinion. The dimensions here are noticeably larger than the original G303, and this is because this mouse was designed specifically to Shroud's hand, making it the perfect mouse for him, but maybe not the perfect mouse for you. And I don't think it's offensively large by any means. This should fit all hand sizes pretty well since it's a little smaller than the Logitech Superlight. This mouse was designed to work well with a claw grip and specifically pushes you towards an aggressive claw. I think it's too small for a comfortable palm grip, and I think it's too big for a fingertip grip. Now, one cool little thing about the design language here is that there are these circles on both sides, and these circles mark where Shroud places his fingers when gripping the mouse. So it may be difficult for you to match Shroud's FPS skills, but at least you can match his grip with this mouse. The coating and materials used on top here are exactly the same as the Superlight. Now this matte and soft texture plastic is my favorite coating till today. It's really grippy and it's really good looking, but the only drawback with it is that it does catch a lot of fingerprints, so I do tend to wipe it down often. Now the G303 Shroud also has no RGB, and just like the Superlight, you're going to find a silver G logo on top here. Now, unlike the other Shroud Edition mice and peripherals that Logitech has released, this doesn't have any aggressive Shroud branding on the mouse itself. Instead, you're just going to find this Logitech GX Shroud branding here, which is really simple and good looking in my opinion. The sides on this mouse are fantastic. Logitech is using this translucent plastic that feels rubbery and so grippy. And also, the fact that you can see through it is awesome and futuristic. I would also love to see this side material implemented on the next Logitech Superlight. Now, as you would expect from Logitech and at this price point, the build quality is absolutely solid. There's no creaking or flexing anywhere here. I really like the fit and finish that they are bringing into their new mice. Now, there is one thing to mention here though, is that it sometimes feels like there is a vibration in the mouse when I move it quickly. It's not the best feeling and I'm not sure why it happens, but if it makes it any better, this doesn't affect performance or build quality here. Now, weight has become a very important category in gaming mice, and companies are trying to bring that down as much as possible with their new products. Now, the G303 Shroud weighs in at 75 grams, so it's not heavy at all, but it doesn't have that same big impact on me as the Superlight does when I hold it, because that thing weighs in at a crazy light 59 grams. But because it's only 75 grams, it's well suited for low DPI gaming, as well as fast flicks and easy lifting. The G303 Shroud has 6 programmable buttons, including your primary switches, 2 side switches, a DPI button right on top here for quick DPI changes during competitive gameplay, as well as the scroll wheel click. Now there is also a light indicator above the scroll wheel that works as both a battery and DPI indicator to keep you aware of where your DPI is at and if you need to plug it in for charging. And speaking of charging, this will run for 70 hours of continuous motion on a single charge. Now this is going to be the same battery life as the Superlight, and that is one of my favorite things on it. The battery will last you at least a month on one charge with normal usage, which is phenomenal battery life here.
So the switches being used on the G303 Shroud Edition are the Omron 20s that they're also using on the Logitech Superlight. That's been my main mouse for the last while. So I love these switches, and I'm going to do a little sound test here so you guys can hear for yourself how they sound like before we talk a little bit more about them.
So as you heard for yourself, this mouse sounds really good and the switches are well built. Now Logitech has eliminated the double clicking issues that they had on their older mice by using this new version of the Omron switches. So I expect the same reliability I've had on my Superlight with this G303 Shroud Edition. Now when it comes to the main switches, there's no pre or post travel and they are really quick and will actuate with very little force from you, so they are perfect for quick decisions within games. The side switches here are well placed and within easy reach, and they're going to be really nice and crisp as well. The scroll wheel is smoothed out on the surface, and there are no line indentations like we see on the Superlight. Now, it doesn't feel as good as having those little indentations, but it still gives a little bump and tactility with each scroll, so it feels really nice and tactile. Looking at the bottom of the mouse here, Logitech has equipped it with 100% PTFE feet, and they are very large, covering almost the whole bottom surface area. And the glide feels really smooth, and I think it's a little bit better than the Superlight. Now Logitech has also put its 25K hero sensor on here that is absolutely phenomenal. Tracking here is excellent in all different types of games and tasks, especially FPS games. And when it comes to the wireless connectivity, the G303 Shroud Edition is perfect with no noticeable input lag or delays. So Logitech G makes some of the best wireless performance technology, and it's no different here. Now let's talk about the most important thing here, which is gaming performance. So I tested this using 3 different games. The first is Warzone. So this is the game I play the most, and this mouse feels right at home with an FPS game. I found myself adjusting to the shape rather quickly and using a strong and aggressive claw grip. Now the shape makes so much sense for FPS games because I just felt like I'm locked into my mouse. It makes sense that Shroud likes the shape because it makes you feel like you're always in control of your mouse. And tracking targets here was fantastic and the weight felt really nice. Now the second game was Halo Multiplayer, and this is another FPS game, and the G303 felt right at home here as well. So Halo is a much faster game than Warzone, and the weight and fast tracking play a bigger role here. And it felt great in both categories as I flicked the mouse quickly around to snap on targets. The last game I played was League of Legends, and this is where I felt a struggle using this mouse. Since this type of game is not focused so much on tracking, and weight doesn't play a big role here, it all boils down to the shape of the mouse. And with a game like this, I tend to go for a relaxed grip, which doesn't feel very natural on this diamond shape here. On the other hand, my Logitech Superlight feels very comfortable in both an aggressive claw or relaxed claw grip.
So overall, this mouse is obviously not going to work for everyone, and that's because it was specifically designed to Shroud's hand and his needs. But that doesn't mean that it's not an incredible mouse after all. If you love to play a lot of FPS games, and you love to have an aggressive claw grip that makes you feel like you're locked into your game, then this mouse is going to do an incredible job at that. But if you do want to have a more relaxed claw grip or a palm grip, and you want to have it for both work and play, then I'd still go with the Logitech Superlight here. Alright, so that was all for the G303 Shroud Edition. I was super excited to get my hands on this mouse, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel with the bell notifications on, because that's going to be the best way to keep up with the video uploads as well as support the channel. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you next time.